You have definitely heard this song before. But why is she singing about the Last Supper? And who is Tuki anyway? Well, that's the catch. Nobody knows. Tuki is a Japanese singer who blew up through TikTok during the pandemic and now holds the Guinness World Record for most tickets sold for a first ever public audience performance by a solo J-pop artist, having her first ever concert in the legendary Budokan, all at 16 years old. But her true identity remains a mystery. This is all we know about Tuki. Tuki grew up in the family of music, learning the piano since kindergarten, and has always loved music. And that's all we know about her early life. Thank you guys so much. Nope, seriously, that's it. At age 13, COVID came into play. Japan went into a state of emergency and everyone was in quarantine. At the time, Tuki decided to start exploring music and casually just started playing with her dad's acoustic guitar for no particular reason. One night, Tuki was just lounging around her house, doing nothing in particular, until her dad said a life-changing sentence. Life is only about 30,000 days long. 13-year-old Tuki realized, I've already lived 5,000 days. I only have 25,000 days left. I can't just keep living like this. And so it drove Tuki to create something. Tuki started writing a song that would be known as Bansanka, meaning evening meal song. While the song is very pretty and catchy, like with every single fucking Vocaloid song, the story behind Bansanka is much more complex than you would imagine. The title Bansanka actually stems from a random conversation with her family. At the time, she had just learned about Leonardo da Vinci's The Last Supper in art class, and her mother casually asked her, "What would you like as your last meal?" At the time, her answer was her mother's home-cooked chicken namban because that's just how much she loved it. But the question also made her think. As much as she loved it, she would still occasionally want to eat other kinds of food. And that's when she realized that this philosophy reflected the fickle nature of human love. That is the meaning behind Bansanka. It's a song about a person who loves someone but also hurts them and is trapped in that contradiction. It's not literally about a meal, that's a metaphor. Human love is inconsistent. You can love someone with all your heart, but even so, you sometimes still want to try different things, still waver, hurt them, or fail to stay constant. Yet within this, we still try to find some proof of love. You can search up the lyrics and deeper analysis, but essentially, Tuki took an art class, had a short conversation with her parents, had an existential crisis at the age of 13, and wrote a philosophical song becoming the modern day Socrates. What I need to emphasize is Tuki is and was just a normal teenager. She lived with her family, she loved shonen anime like The Promised Neverland, RIP, Jujutsu Kaisen and Attack on Titan, and also romance shoujo manga. An average girly teenager you could find anywhere in Japan. As just a hobby, like any other teen would, Tuki started uploading covers of her singing famous J-pop songs while playing the acoustic guitar on TikTok.
Tell me why this heart you're inside.
And she got a decent following doing this, with many people commenting on how her voice was crazy good for an 8th grader. But what's special is, after a while, starting in 2023 July, she would release snippets of her original song, Bansanka, and frame it as a new song written by a 15-year-old, which attracted a lot of attention on TikTok. First, she released the chorus. Then a month later, the title, and so on. Aware of it or not, Tuki was building up hype for this big release, and it was about to pay off big time. Seeing how she was growing on TikTok, Tuki wanted to officially debut as an artist, but as a middle schooler, lacked the funds to produce Bansanka professionally. That's why she convinced her dad to pay for the production on the promise that she would pay him back later if she succeeded. And so, with the money, Bansanka was professionally recorded at a studio, and Tuki even hired the artist of The Promised Neverland to do the official art because she loved the manga. Bansanka released on September 29th, 2023, and with all the build-up, it was an instant success. Bansanka started out on Billboard Japan Hot 100 at number 14 throughout the entire country, but it only kept getting traction from there. By January 2024, 4 months later, Bansanka hit number 1 on the Billboard, defeating the likes of Ado, YOASOBI, and Miss Green Apple. Like, the mainstream J-pop stars. Bansanka had broken 100 million streams in Japan alone. That's their entire population! Being the youngest solo artist in history to ever do so, Song was getting 9 million streams a week. TikTok views were at like 150 million. Shit was insane. This was a once in a decade kind of blow up because with just one song at 15 years old, Tuki was now one of Japan's biggest J-pop stars, which even Tuki herself was astonished by. Tuki now had a music career. Her new songs became theme songs of dramas used in commercials like for PlayStation. She won awards like these on screen and even international accolades like the Best New Artist Award at the Music Awards Japan 2025, which by then, her total streaming views had surpassed 1 billion. Bansanka alone had 500 million by 2025. In 2024, just 1 year after her debut, she was invited to Kohaku, Japan's most prestigious New Year's Eve music program, watched by like half the nation on national TV. And on February 11th, 2026, Tuki performed her first ever solo concert at the legendary Budokan, the most prestigious stage that every Japanese musician dreams to perform on. And Tuki did it as her very first concert at the age of 16, followed by a huge Asia tour. Long story short, Tuki blew up through one song and had accomplished in 2 years more than most people do their entire lives. She is a successful musician, and you've probably at least heard of her or Bansanka before watching this video. But that's not the point I wanted to make in this video. Despite this booming success, Tuki had always just wanted to be normal. She herself says that she wants to live out her life as a normal high schooler. She wants to experience that everyday happiness like everyone else. That's why she deliberately protects her private life. Other than her age and voice, pretty much nothing else is publicly known about her, not even her face. Even in middle school, only a few of her close friends actually know that she is Tuki. And now in her high school, nobody knows that she is Tuki and she lives life as an ordinary high schooler. In other words, if you are a current Japanese high schooler, Tuki could very well be in your class, perhaps sitting next to you, and you just have no idea. If you're sitting on a Tokyo train next to some random high school girl, it could very well be Tuki. Who knows? Only she knows. She herself says it. She attends classes, hangs out with ordinary friends who doesn't know her true identity, and goes home like any other student would. On social media, she posts about her clothes, wears costumes on holidays, shows places she went to, talks about her feelings on a bad day. Very typical of an average teenager. She even trolls on social media, making this white background black text announcement saying Tuki, 15, has ended activities, and Tuki, 16, will be continuing activities. On April Fools, giving fans a fucking heart attack. And she did it again this year, despite some people flaming her last year for it. Hell, when Bansanka was blowing up, she was preparing for her high school entrance exams. Bro, not even uni entrance exams. High school entrance exams! The ideology of living an ordinary life is reflected in her work too. When writing music, the meaning behind every song is simply about the things she sees. She thinks in life through her very own experience of an ordinary life. Even at this level of success, music is an outlet of passion for her, not a commercial product. She literally just writes about her feelings. In fact, Tuki says that living this ordinary high schooler life is really important to her work too, as it's this ordinary life, everyday happiness that gives her the hints and feelings to write songs in the first place. Tuki lives a double life between a viral J-pop star and a normal high school student, and there is a clear line between these two lives. After appearing on Kohaku, you know, Japan's biggest music program, no one called out to her because no one knew who she was. So she just went home and spent New Year's Eve as usual with her family. When performing at concerts, only her silhouette, feet, or costume would be revealed, never her face. At the Budokan concert, she wore a school uniform to reflect that ordinary everyday life. The Japanese seems to respect this privacy too. I say seems because we really don't know what's going on behind the scenes. You never know in the fucking entertainment industry. But when interviewers try to push even a little into her background, hosts of shows immediately stop it and change topics. Even huge media sources like Oricon, when covering stuff like award interviews, did it over phone for Tuki. What I'm trying to say is, not only is this peak anime power fantasy because what do you mean no one knows you're one of the biggest artists in the country? But also, I find this ordinary life mindset to be so respectable, especially as a creator and especially to be able to think that at her age. In our world, so many things are commercialized. Power, fame, and wealth seem like everything, and on social media, some people do ridiculous, horrible things for just a moment in the spotlight. While I don't think I'm as bad as Logan Paul, even I'm slightly guilty of it. I do love making videos and all the topics I talk about. I mean, I made this channel out of passion, but I'd be lying if I said I wasn't concerned with video performance or if I can ever make enough money through it to make it a full-time job and such. That's why when I see creators like Tuki who can just succeed by doing what they love and staying pure to expressing themselves authentically, I really have a great deal of respect for them. Maybe sometimes we really are chasing for too much and can't see the simple happiness that already exists around us. It's not bad to be ambitious, but sometimes maybe it's okay to just slow down and just appreciate the things we already have around us. At least that's what the story of this unknown mysterious J-pop star, who could literally be at the high school near my house, has taught me. Also, if she's 17 now, that means she was born in 2009. Oh my god, we're old. Special thanks to Vicente Bagani and all my other patrons and members for supporting me.